So today I want to do a little bit of a different video, and I know I've been doing a little bit different videos lately, but as part of the reorganizing of my home office and setting up my, retro computer displays and everything, and also trying to just clean things up in general, and also come up with ideas for decorations and things like that. Of course, I thought of like knickknacks, and I mean, when I showed off my retro room, I showed off the shelves above the Macs, with a little Lego Mac that I built and an old iPod and different stuff like that. And that's kind of neat, for that little Macintosh corner. But what about the rest of it, which is PC-based and non-PC-based, non-Mac stuff, as well as like the Commodore 64, Amiga, etc. As far as that stuff, I'll get to that later. But for now, I want to focus on, PC decor, we'll say, and knickknacks and things like that. And one of the things that I, thought it would be really cool to do is take all the CPUs that I've collected over the years, maybe put them on display. I'm not sure how yet. Maybe put them in a display case like you would with a coin collection, or maybe like sports cards. I don't know, stuff like that. Or maybe even just taking a couple of just shelves, kind of like that, with like a little lip in the front, and then just kind of had the CPUs displayed that way. But then I realized another problem that I had, and the CPUs that I have, most of them are in cases, but they're the cases that originally came with the CPU. For example, take a look at this socket. I think it's a socket 775. Yeah, it's a Core 2 quad, and this is the original packaging that it would have come with in a retail box from Intel, along with a cooler potentially, and instructions and a sticker and all that. And this doesn't look very good, And another CPU I have is a Pentium 4 socket 478 that's just in a static bag. And I mean, I even have an Intel chip inside of an AMD case here like that, because that's allowed. But like, even the AMD CPUs came in very similar packaging to the Intel ones, and not very attractive. Even the Athlon XP, like this much larger one, and this is all going to look really bad on a shelf. If I were to be able to line them up a certain way, they could probably get them to stand, right? But they still kind of look ugly. I don't like the way that looks. And then I found this old Pentium 3, which I'm still trying to remember why I have, but it comes in this really nice clamshell case that, fits everything perfectly. And this might be a good option for displaying. Now, of course, the issue I have is with the little, I don't know what you call them, but it helps to open them up. But all I have to do then is just rotate the CPU 90 degrees. And that'll work just fine. I had heard about using Game Boy game cases for CPUs, and it will work. But as you'll see right now, the problem is it's not very visible because of the fact that it's not completely transparent. It's kind of like, it's more transparent than translucent, but it's still not very visible, and it's not very attractive. And in the other issue you have is it rattles around, and while they're going to be on display, not moving around much, hopefully, there's still the potential for them to move around, and I don't want to, potentially damage them or anything like that, get them scratched up. Just put that there for now. So instead, I wanted to try to find these types of clamshells, right? Initial searching, and I did this a while ago, and I didn't really focus too much time or effort on it. Found a few, but they were, in my opinion, kind of pricey for what they are. So I kind of gave up on that project for a while, but eventually I did go and I was able to find on AliExpress something very similar to this. And I'm sure you can find these in other places too. Now, they build this as a electronic component storage thing, and they had an example of like little micro PCBs, cameras for like smartphones, things like that. But they only had 4 left in stock, and I figured, you know what? For a couple of bucks a piece or whatever, and I think it might have been free shipping, I don't remember, but I'll buy the 4. And I mean, it looks like it's about the right size to fit the majority of the larger CPUs. The smaller ones should fit for sure. I need some extra padding, so I went ahead and did that. And well, here's the Pentium 166 that came out of my NEC Ready system, and it does fit perfectly. Similar in design, not quite the same as this type of clamshell, but very close. But part of the problem is that some of these CPUs are just too tall, so I have to find cases that are a little bit thicker to support that. But let's see, because I haven't tried yet. What about an LGA chip? Yeah, that fits fine. And the silicon backing will keep it from sliding and everything. Of course, I'm sure vibrations over time will get it to fall, but... So the majority of the CPUs I have, I could probably put in these. And like I said, I can always find different ones, of course. And now my hands are covered in thermal paste and all that, but you know, such is life. But at the very least, the older PGA chips I have, like the Pentium, and I also have here an AMD Duron, fits in the case. The one exception that I have, other than, you know, the Athlon 64, is the Pentium 233 MMX. It's hard to see, but there's a gap right there. And even then, if you look at the top of the case, the thermal paste kind of rubbed off on it. And it's weird because these CPU packages should be identical to these because they effectively support, at least most of them for the most part, support these same coolers and everything. And I even put them side by side, and even with the heat spreader, they should, you know, be identical. So, but I'm sitting there thinking, wondering, like, that kind of annoys me. But then I noticed on this particular case here, see that little where it's like miscolored? That's because this is, for the most part, removable. I had it the other day, and it's just that. So if I take it out, of course I'll put foam in there, but just for demonstration purposes. No more gap. So that could work, but now I'm wondering, where's that Athlon 64? And this is an X2, so dual core, but I wonder if that will work now. Still won't work without the foam pad. Without the foam pad it'll work, but this is a much denser foam than the, where did it go? The Pentium 3 has. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I still don't know how I'm going to display them. If you guys have any of your own that you've done like that and you don't mind sharing them with everybody. Obviously you can't post links or anything, but if you have, let's say, a Flickr account or something, you know, that we could just look up and go from there, you know, that could work. You know, look at some examples. And if you have any idea of where to get additional cases like this, different sizes, different fits and everything, so that I could fit an AMD Athlon 64 in there, and you know, other related CPUs that are going to be a little bit thicker than normal, you know, go ahead and let me know down below. Let all of us know, because there's probably a lot of you that want to probably do something similar to that. So did I test? Let me see. I don't think I tested the socket 478, which is still a PGA chip. Although it's, I think it's really more considered a micro PGA because the pin spacing is much more. Gosh, why do I have these in so many different bags? Some of these CPUs I don't even remember where I got them from, pulled them from dead systems or what have you. This one looks like it's a Pentium 4 1.6 gigahertz. Let's see. Yeah, that'll fit in there nicely. And if I put some foam padding in there, actually, let's put the silicon back in there. Yeah, that'll work fine. So pretty much everything except for the Athlon 64s and similar CPUs will work in these cases. So I'll have to find some that are a little bit, you know, taller and take care of those. But the rest of them should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more search online. I'm going to try to get more of these style cases just for the rest of the CPUs here. Because again, I've got 1, 2, 3 Athlon XPs that need homes. I've got, of course, where did it go? This, another AMD Athlon. This is the ceramic package instead of just the PCB with the bare die exposed. And then, of course, I've got a bunch of these LGA and PGA Pentium chips and Core chips, Core 2 Duos, and one of these might even be a Xeon. And then, of course, I've got CPUs that are currently installed in boards for different tests, and just because I haven't pulled them out of there yet, that I want to go ahead and put in. And yeah, so I'm going to try to find some more of these cases. Again, if you guys have any similar setups, you know, in your retro collection, go ahead and, you know, let me know your experiences. And again, you can't post links necessarily, but what you might be able to do is like tell us like, hey, you know, go to Imager, you know, .com and type this, you know, string in that'll be the URL to your photos or whatever, and go from there. I also have to clean all these CPUs, get these thermal paste off. The Pentium 3 is going to be a little bit difficult because that's the type of thermal paste that basically is more like glue. Anyone that's ever tried to work on an original Xbox probably knows a similar type. So also, now to think of it, I don't even remember why I have a Pentium 3. I don't even think I have a Socket 370 board that supports it, so no idea where that came from. The AMD Athlons and Durons, I know those were from builds. The Athlon 64s were from existing builds. Some of the core chips and even like the 775 based Pentium chips, I think I've got one somewhere. Those were just pulled from working systems, like an old Dell system or something like that. So yeah, anyways, I'm just rambling at this point, but I, was going to test some of this stuff out and kind of come up with ideas to display. And I figured, let me turn it into a video because there's probably other people out there that maybe have a similar setup and can offer advice, or even if they don't have a similar setup, maybe they want to do something like that. And I can't even get everything in range over here because I've got this limited space here. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for this is the best brand. Again, I got it on AliExpress. There's probably half a dozen vendors by now, but when I looked originally, it's only one vendor selling these, and they only have 4 left. But I just checked before I made this video, and they're up to 16 back in stock, so I'm gonna maybe pick those up. If for some reason you're looking for this style CPU, package container, AliExpress did have tons of these types, and they have them for different types of CPUs, so maybe pick those up. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Again, this is just me rambling and going on and on about stuff. So yeah, like I said, give me your experiences below if you have anything like that, suggestions, etc. Otherwise, thanks all. I'll catch you later.